when I was pregnant and in early motherhood, I was confused a lot of the time. I had moms and grandmas and friends and tias and all sorts of people, and everybody was telling me what kind of stroller to buy, and nobody was telling me the hard stuff. Like nobody told me that nursing and having sex in the same day was going to be real weird. That takes a lot of well, maybe not for you, but for me, that took a lot of mental gymnastics. Like, what? Like, it was so confusing for me. Nobody was talking about that stuff, and I really couldn't figure out why. As my pregnancy progressed, and as I became a mother, it felt like, have you guys ever been at SPI? You're playing in the sand, maybe like you walk in the water a little bit, and you walk in a little bit deeper, and a wave comes, and you kind of like lose your balance, and you think, I'm okay, I got it, and you shake it off. And then another wave comes, and you lose your balance, you're like, I got it. And then yet another wave comes, and finally you're toppled over, and you think, geez, like just give me a break, right? Like just let me get my balance. That's what motherhood and early pregnancy can feel like, because you've lived so long without these constant changes, and then all of a sudden, it's change after change after change. And the changes are not only physical, but they're mental. They also change your relationships, the structure of your life. But have hope. You can survive. I survived, and many women have survived. There are a sisterhood of women, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who have traveled the path that you're on. And we have been okay, and they have been okay, and you're going to be okay. And at the end of the day, these challenges are fortifying you from the inside out, I promise. Let's talk about body. We're just going to hit the major points. Will my body ever be the same? Form and function, and let's talk about sex. So, will my body ever be the same? No? We have no. Does anybody have a yes?
No, it will never be.
We have some yeses. Okay. It's all perspective. It's okay. So this is the thing. You may be able to fit into your jeans again. You may be able to fit into your favorite dress again, right? The outside of your body may go back to looking the same. It may not, but it may. But the inside of your body will be forever changed. And know that because you don't... Let's talk about two things. There's a word in Hebrew, it's called tov, and it means good. And there's a word in Greek, and it's called teleos, and it means perfect. So the word good, the inherent definition of the word tov, the original definition is it means it's evolving. It means it's becoming. There's movement in the definition. It's kind of gritty. Nothing is perfect. It's like if you're making a clay pot. I have never made a clay pot, but we all have Pinterest. So if you're making a clay pot and you've ever seen people like molding, that's the definition of good. It's tov, T-O-V. Teleos in Greek, the Greeks gave us this word, perfection. Perfection means still, like a statue. Perfection means you're not moving anywhere. Perfection means you've made it, or you've reached a pinnacle. But it also means you're not going anywhere. That's it. S'acabó. Game over. So I think that so many times as women, and maybe as men too, we really try to hit this pinnacle. Like we try to make sure everything looks good for our moms and our mother-in-laws and for our Facebook and all this stuff, and it puts all this pressure when life was never meant to be teleos. It was never meant to be perfect. It's always meant to be good, evolving, becoming, changing, different. I am going to be 34 in June, and I am not the same person that I was when I was 24. Thank God, right? You learn, you change, you become wiser. You learn that certain things don't matter, and you learn that certain things do matter. And that is part of the journey, and that is the same with your body. So when you're going through pregnancy and early motherhood, your body is having these changes, realize that it's good, that that's the way it's supposed to be. You're doing it right. Okay, form and function. So I have joked a lot that I looked like this when I was 9 years old, legit. My parents had to they dressed me in boy clothes so that I wouldn't look so womanly at 9. My dad was like, cover her up. So I was used to this same body for a long time. I was like 5'3", I was curvy. I used it for sports and dancing and marching band. Don't judge me on the marching band. So, but then I had a baby. So originally my body was just for form. It was just for fun, basically. Then my body became used for function. So I pushed a baby out of my body, and then I nursed a baby for a year. I now have 2 kids. I have Alexander and Luciana, almost 3 and 3 months. So 2 girls. So my mom has the babies at home. So moving to a place where my body was just used for regular stuff, walking, showering, all that stuff, to then providing food for a child was real tough for me, because I felt like a tool, like a hammer or a drill. I felt just like I was only being used. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to verbalize and to say out loud, hey, I'm having a real hard time feeling like a woman. I just feel like a milk cow, yes. Yes, a small dairy animal is what I used to say. So like I've said before, today is not about solutions. Today is about that if you ever have this feeling, you know you're not alone, okay? I'm there with you 100%. So Foreman and guys, it's important for you to know the guys are like, get me out of here. It's important for our partners, whoever they are, or our moms or our friends, to know we're having these feelings, as weird as they are, so that they don't assume she's fine. She's fine. There's a lot of changes and there's a lot going on, and it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay. Just because they don't show it on the TV like this doesn't mean it's not like this. Right, Ruben? Right. Okay, let's talk about sex. Sex, you ready, sir? Let's do it. Sex while you're pregnant is so awkward. Nobody told me this. So, okay, we've got it. I never did it. My husband and I, we stopped having sex for a while because he was like, I can't. You have a baby inside of you. It freaked him out. And I was so sad. I thought, I'm not pretty. He doesn't love me. And I was just so distraught. And we kept talking about it, and I would ask my friend, and he would ask his friend. He literally called his friend and was like, bro, we're not having sex. What do we do? His friend had already had 3 kids, and his friend was like, it's normal. It's normal. It's fine. It doesn't happen like this for everybody, but it happens. And his friend gave us the best advice. His friend said, just keep talking about it. The more you try to sweep it under the rug, the bigger the problem gets. So we didn't have sex for a long time. But we kept talking about it, and then it all of a sudden became a joke. We'd be like, should we try or no? And it took a while, but the more we put a name to it, and the more we told our friends about it, it wasn't a secret. We weren't pretending to be this awesome couple and then go home and we sleep in separate beds or whatever. We didn't feel like we had a secret, because we were being honest with each other, and we were saying, this is weird. I'm sad about it. I feel uncomfortable. This is awkward. How can we be married and not having sex? But the more we talked about it, the easier it became to deal with. And we have another baby, so we got around to it again. No, ma'am, not yet. One more. But thank you. Also, women, ladies, sisters, after you've had your baby, take it easy on yourself. Give yourself lots of grace when you're trying to figure out where your body is going to land again. Maybe it'll be the same as it was before, and maybe it won't. But it's going to take some time to figure out where you're going to fall on that scale. And don't be afraid to give yourself some grace. Like, you created life. You brought life into the world. This is an enormous honor. It is holy. It is not just a child. There's just so much love and opportunity in there. And I want you to give yourself credit for that. So if you want to wear Spanx because the jeans don't fit, that's okay. You were Spanx. If your jeans don't fit, don't get angry at yourself. Buy bigger jeans. Like, it's okay. Just give yourself the grace. And so sex can be tricky even if you're not pregnant. But when you are, you have it in your head like, oh, all the ladies look so pretty on TV and everyone looks so perfect, and it's not like that. Raise your hand if you know it's not like that. Okay, it's not like that. So just know that you're not alone and we're all there with you. Work and worth. So there are so many questions and hang-ups that are wrapped up in this, work and worth. A lot of people, so before I got pregnant, I had a full-time job. I had 2 full-time jobs, actually. I worked at Holiday Wine and Liquor, and I ran some bars. So I did both. But then I knew I wasn't gonna have time. And so I worked less, and I worked less, and I worked less, and then all of a sudden I was not earning money. So all these questions started going in my head, like, does that mean I have to work harder at home? Am I still, what am I gonna tell people I do at a party? Like, hi, my name is Catia. What do I do? I don't know. It's weird because so many times we say, hi, my name is Catia, I'm a teacher. Hi, my name is Catia, fill in the blank. Hi, my name is Catia, I'm a nurse, whatever it is, right? And then if you take that away, you think, what am I? And then a lot of women are tempted to say, I'm just a mom. Please don't ever say that. You're not just anything. You're raising a child. You're putting love in your home. You're nurturing your family. These things are huge. So never diminish yourself in that way. But lots of people have these questions. Will I continue to work? Will I be a stay-at-home mom? What will I tell people I do? What if I want to go back to work? What if I can't afford to take time off? All these are normal questions, and moms have a particularly good way of making themselves feel guilty. Some people feel guilty for staying home. Some people feel guilty for going back to work. Some women feel guilty for not feeling guilty. Like, I have a girlfriend, and she loves to take her kids to daycare, and she loves to work. She's like, this is who I am. And some of her friends give her a hard time, like, oh my God, you must not love your children. She's like, I love my children the same as you, but I like to work and I like to take them to daycare. Okay, great. Nobody gets to tell you how you feel, and nobody gets to tell you how to create your family life. Do what works for you and for your kiddos and for your partner, and really try to quiet all the shoulds. Raise your hand if you have people in your life who say, you should do this. You kind of feel that pressure. Anybody? A little bit pressure? Don't worry, they're not here. You can raise your hand. Right? We all have it. But know that when you get still and when you get quiet, you'll know what to do. You know the truth on the inside. You just need to trust yourself enough to listen and to make the decision. This is one of my favorite quotes. Identity is never static, always in the making and never made. It goes back to that that definition that I was saying of good, tov, right? This is, as Dr. Gutierrez said earlier, parenting is a marathon. You are becoming somebody that you weren't before. There's no going back to the old you. The old you was good, but the new you is going to be better because you've been through more. You're wiser, you're stronger, you've been tested. And know that nobody can take those challenges away from you, and nobody can take that triumph away from you either. Let's do this real fast. Labor. Labor is tough. Labor hurts. Raise your hand if you've been through labor. Keep your hand up if it was tough. You see? Okay. Nobody. Sometimes people think like, oh, I have to be Superwoman. Like I'm going to get some kind of medal if I don't get an epidural. And by some people, I mean me. My first labor, I labored 23 hours, no medication, like a gorilla in the jungle, because I was trying to show off. I'm not kidding you. That's very embarrassing, but I'm here to tell you the real truth. So I had heard stories of, listen, my mom's an impressive woman. She said she labored, the only thing she had was a towel. She bit on a towel. And I was like, alrighty, that's a high bar. So she was like, oh yeah, mijita, I bit on a towel through all the pregnancies and that was it. That was before people could be in the room with you. I was like, who are you? She's like, Superwoman. So when I went into my first labor, I thought, I can do this. Chingona. No. At hour 23, I begged and screamed and yelled for the epidural. They gave me the epidural. 2 hours later, the baby came. Like my body relaxed, she popped out. The second time around, I asked for the epidural after 2 hours. I got a lot smarter. But I tell you all these embarrassing things to tell you that each child has their own way of getting here. And you are a superwoman just because you're having the baby. It doesn't matter how the baby gets here. The only thing that you need to worry about in that moment is your safety and the safety of the baby. Everything else, scoot it to the side. Don't feel pressure to do anything or to not do anything. Just listen to your voice. There is no gold medal for women who don't take the medication. If you don't need it, that's awesome. But there's no competition. There's no, I was a better laborer than you. That doesn't work. We are equal. We are all the same. Be safe and get the baby here safely. Is everyone good with that? That's very important to me. I was just trying to show off and it was not good. We're kind of going towards the end here. Asking for help is a sign of strength. The fact that you're here already means that you're amazing because you're kind of already asking for help. You're seeking help from professionals, from your community, from RGB Mom's blog. You're using your resources to say, I don't know everything, but please help me learn. And I think that is already you are on an amazing track. So asking for help is a sign of strength. Continue what you're doing right now. You can ask for help from your parents, your community as you're doing today, medical professionals, church, spouses. It's very important that you verbalize these things. My first baby, afterward I experienced postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. The thing about it was I didn't know I had postpartum anxiety and depression until it went away. So I had her in August. It wasn't till late November or December where I thought, I feel weird. Like I feel better, like I feel good today. I didn't even know I was feeling bad. Then the kicker is after I had my second girl, it was like in the movies where you see her and you're like, ooh, goo goo gaga. Like you just fall in love. And I was like, whoa, I really had postpartum anxiety and depression and I didn't even know how bad because I didn't have anything to compare it to. Does that make sense? So please be aware sometimes people call it postpartum blues. Sometimes it can be postpartum in the ditch. And like, don't be afraid if it feels like more than you've heard. If you're having scarier thoughts or if you feel really anxious, say those things out loud, tell your doctor, tell your pediatrician, find some help, because that stuff is very, very important. It not only affects the way your mental health, it affects the way you parent and the way you are in relationship with your husband or wife or spouse. So it has a domino effect. So please take good care of yourselves. This is a cliche saying, but if you don't pour into yourself, you can't pour out, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. It's very important that you feel good and healthy and fulfilled. And the more good and healthy and fulfilled you are, the more that's going to overflow onto your kiddos. One of my favorite quotes: the moment a child is born, the mother is also born. She never existed before. It's like you're cracking open. You're going to feel big feelings. You're going to feel things that you have never felt before. Sometimes, I know, sometimes you're going to feel heartache and excitement at the same time. It's unbelievable what kiddos do to you and how scared you are and excited, and you can feel like 10 emotions at the same time when I didn't even know that that stuff was possible. So know that trying to go back to who you were, like I said earlier, is a disservice to all the cool, amazing things you've been through. There's no going back. There's only going forward. You're better, you're stronger, you're wiser, you're becoming the woman that you are meant to become, and give yourself some space and some credit for that, because it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. If you feel excited, scared, and confused, that's normal. If you feel exasperated, thrilled, and tired, that's normal. And if you feel heartbroken, alive, and hopeful, that's normal too. We are each like gems, refracting the light of our journeys differently, but gems nonetheless. So my journey is going to look totally different than yours, and yours is going to look totally different than hers, and that's okay. One of my good friends said the other day, I said, hey, if you had advice, or like, what's your best nugget of advice for mamas? She has 2 kiddos, and she said, never judge. She said, it's so hard. You don't know. The kids' personalities are different. The moms, the husbands, the wives' personalities are different. You never know what they're working with, and everybody's preferences and or health issues, the list goes on and on. And so when somebody's journey, and I have a hard time doing this, when somebody's journey looks different, it doesn't mean it's better or worse. It just means it's different. So never think you're less than. Let's say, something typical is like, we hear breast is best, right? Well, sometimes some breasts can't produce. And does that mean that mama is less than? No. That mama is doing the best she can for her kiddo. She's loving her kiddo the way she knows how, and bravo to that. And vice versa. Does that mean just because a mama's nursing till the baby's 5 that she's amazing? Yes, number one. But does it mean she's better? No. They're both amazing. They're both trying their best. We are all trying our best. May you know that your sisters love you. Everybody in the room here. We're all going to go through weird, difficult things, and that's okay. We can do hard things, It's what makes us better and wiser and grow. May you know you're being fortified from the inside out, and may you have the courage to become. Thank you.